So, hello, you guys. Today I'm actually going to train you on live setup ideas and things that you can use to go live on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc. All right. So, I'm going to show you a couple tools that I have, kind of how it has changed for me as I've grown in the business over 5.5 years. And, I started at the end or at the beginning on a fireplace screen. All right, so here I was on my my dining room table on a fireplace screen, you guys. It was very basic. I didn't have all the bells and whistles and ring lights and all the things. I had a little tortilla lamp with the sidearm light with a daylight white light bulb right in my face for the lighting. And it was really, really super simple. So, I want you guys to realize, hold on. I want you guys to realize that you don't have to have all of the bells and whistles to go live, okay? I think the biggest thing is just pushing the plug and doing it, all right? So I'm going to teach you a little bit about live setup and what I have here to show you. Very, very basic, going to very extravagant, okay? When you first join any business, you're not going to be going extravagant unless you have a business budget going into the business where you know I'm going to invest XYZ in product, in supplies, and all that. I advise you, the biggest thing I advise you is don't do any of that until you've actually started the business, okay? Because if you go and purchase all those items prior to starting the business, you're not technically a business. Technically, it's not a write-off. Okay, so you want to make sure you're in business first before you actually go and buy all these things. All right, so when I first started, and I actually have, I did a training at one point in time, and they gave me this little picture of the growth of my business, and it was actually kind of really funny at the point. What I see in this is how I started out very basic and very, very unconfident. I had zero confidence in what I was doing. You'll see in the very first picture, I was absolutely terrified to go live. And just like all of you, pushing a live button, I would speak in front of hundreds of people as a wedding minister, but pushing that live button was so scary to me because I knew that there was no turning back. And what happened if people teased me? And what happened if people didn't show up? What happened if people didn't buy my jewelry? What happened if people thought I was stupid? You know, the number one fear is fear of judgment. So this really, really shows me so much more. I wish I had a further progression. But you're going to see as I show you this, okay? At the very, very beginning, this was my setup, you guys. I had a fireplace screen with the pegs that I got in my kit at my dining room table, and I would do all of my lives right there with a light right in front of me. You can see zero confidence on my face there, terrified of all terrified, and I just did it, okay? If I waited around forever to be ready, I would have still been waiting right now, okay? Then, as we progressed and grew a little bit, I ended up here. And I had a 4x4 pegboard. I had maybe a couple little plastic bins that I would use for people's orders of jewelry. But I had just a couple pegs on that pegboard. You'll see there, okay? Then when my son moved out, I actually moved into his room. And we put pegboard on 2 of the walls. So you can see I grew a little bit larger because I had more space. And you can see the confidence is growing as I go. All right, do you see it? Then, right down here, still in that room, but my inventory is growing, my confidence is growing, my hair is changing color. Ooh, my dog is choking. My hair is changing color and all the things, okay? Then I moved down here. Okay, down here is a whole nother room downstairs just because the liability of people going upstairs. And I have now 3 walls of jewelry around me that are all pegboard, okay? And I will turn the camera at the end so you guys can actually see my setup. But I have 3 walls around me now of jewelry. Everything is down here with one piece. Everything else is upstairs, wrapped still in its packages. Why do I do that? Because God forbid if something were to happen to me, my husband can go and contact Paparazzi if he needs to and look at the buyback program or something like that. But it has to be unused, unopened jewelry to do that. Okay? So that is why we select one piece, bring it down here, and leave everything else upstairs. Now, with little things that you can use at the beginning to start, you do get a bust very similar to this one when you join Paparazzi in your kit. I believe that they still have this in the kit. Yeah, I hate these busts, I'll be honest with you, because they are velvet and they have all kinds of lint and you can see the dirt on them. So when you're holding something up very, very close, one, it doesn't focus the jewelry very well. And two, all you can see is the lint and the debris on top of the bust, which drives me bananas. So if those are still in the kits, I do recommend go to Amazon and invest in a bust. You can get them at Michael's. They're not very big. I would go for a 15-inch if you can find a 15-inch. That's what this is, okay? I love this white, okay? I've had black forever. I recently got this white one, and the jewelry shows up so incredibly well on this, okay? So we're gonna picture that I just joined Paparazzi. I'm sitting at my kitchen table, okay? The things that I have to consider at this point: any lighting around me, i.e. my hallway, my light above me, all of that light has got to be ceiling fans. Any of your lighting around you has got to be daylight white light bulbs. If you do not change your light bulbs, what's going to happen is you might have a white light in front of you, but any of the lighting is going to portray around you or project onto you that warm yellow tone. So what happens is it turns your white pearls a yellowish tone, okay? Everything is yellow at that point because the lighting around you. So you might have a 21-inch ring light like I have now, okay? But if I had yellow lights above me and yellow lights in the hallway, all of that lighting would be projecting in here as well and changing the color of the jewelry, okay? So we're going to pretend as if I'm sitting at a kitchen table. Obviously, I would change those light bulbs above me in the light fixture to make sure that they were LED white or daylight white, okay? Not warm. All I really truly need to go live, legit, all I really truly need is a way to give them a number, okay? At the very beginning, I was broke as a joke. I printed them off. They were not reverse. It was dorky, okay? Now I have things like this here, okay? So I have these reversible numbers. You can buy them on Amazon. They're very cheap. And the rule of thumb when you are live, if you can read the number correctly by looking at it, so can your guest. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, I can see 564 and it's not backwards. Okay, that means that you all can see it correctly as well, because everything is in reverse land when you're live. Okay, so I can see this correctly, you can too, right? All I need is a number and to hold my jewelry up. Now here's a tip. I see a lot of you guys going live and you're doing this and you're holding it like this. Okay, so you're getting your earrings and you're holding them like this. Your camera is trying to focus on everything around you but the piece in front of it. Okay, so you can do two things. Buy a little pack of sewing pins, okay? This is just sewing pins. I stuck them into my bust. So you'll see it there at the top. There's one on the side. There's one there, okay? So if I were to go show this pair of earrings, obviously I would go and hold them up, right? If I'm holding them up, I want a canvas behind them completely. So if you are so far away from your camera to where you're having to do this, you've got to situate your camera closer to you, all right? You don't want them to look up your nostrils or anything like that, but you want it close enough. Now, if you see, now it focuses perfectly. You see, I've also put my other hand here because if I don't, it's going to try to focus on my face behind, okay? And I only want them to look at the earrings that are in front of them, okay? Now, I can also put them like this on the white bust. And you see with the white behind it how well they show, okay? Again, it's focusing on what's in front of it, okay? The bust is large enough that it covers that entire screen and it's not fighting trying to get me, okay? So if I'm showing it like this, do you see? It's trying to fight, okay? So at this point, all I have is my kitchen table, reversible numbers, and a bust, okay? Less than $20, you guys. Well, no, probably less than $30. And I can write all that off if I keep my receipts, okay? Now, when I first started, our system has changed, of course, a million times, right? And yours will too. You will start with one situation and then grow to the next and grow to the next and grow to the next, right? I know you guys get this. Those of you that have been in the business, it's happened, okay? So at the very beginning, I've always used numbers and I've always bought them in sequential order. So I had found these numbers up to $9.99. And then what we did is we started buying the 100s again and we wrote a 1 in front of them. They're still up on my wall around here. All of my urbans are still that way. So we wrote a 1 in, so it was 1100, 1101, 1102. And that's how we went past, or 1100, so on and so forth, okay? That's how we went past the $9.99. We could not find numbers out there that were large enough. All right. So have something behind you, because if you guys are doing this, which I see a lot, or I'll see you guys go like this, your camera is fighting everything around. If you have a Samsung phone like I do, this is the S23 Ultra now, they have such amazing cameras that they will try to focus with all the different cameras on all the things in that picture when you truly just want them to look at one, okay? And that's right here, all right? So make sure that you look into getting some numbers, all right? Now for our rings, since the very beginning, I ended up getting a ring tray from Paparazzi. Then I went back to the basics of what I had at the very, very beginning. What I had at the very beginning was a thread holder. This is just a thread holder. I spray painted it black. Okay. These are for bobbins of thread. I just bought this. It was a couple bucks. You can buy them at any of the craft stores or on Amazon, Walmart, whatever. And they hold your rings very well. Okay. So when we first started, I actually put the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, then they fell off and they wore off and I learned my lesson. So now what we buy is we buy this huge package of these little tags, okay? And I think we got these on Amazon as well. You can just Google, this is Beadthoven, okay? But there's an ungodly amount, 500 pieces of these tags, okay? So you'll see now what we do is we actually just put the tag around it, write the number of what that ring is, and it sits there in sequential order on that rack there. Okay, I actually hang that rack. I push the legs in and hang the rack up on my pegs, and it sits up there when I don't need it. Okay, but this is a great way to take your rings down and show them. You can also do a flash sale that way as well. Okay, so that is a great way to work with your rings. You work with your rings that way. Now, I bought a ton of these when I first started at the dollar store. Okay. If you don't have pegboards and all of those things, you can take your jewelry with your tag that you're going to show that night, put that piece of jewelry in a tin, stack the next one on top of it, put the next piece of jewelry in it, stack the next one on top of it. So when you go to show, I can show you this ring, then I can put it over here, then I go to my next piece, right? Then I can go put them back wherever they go. Whatever your organization system is, and I highly swear on this, start from the beginning with an organization system. Ziploc bags is the cheapest way in a Sharpie, you guys. You do not have to go into debt creating a system that is going to organize you. You have a box that shows up. Use your boxes, cut all your tops off. You can put box to box to box, cut the fronts off, and use those for shelves if you choose to. But keep it simple at the beginning, because going into debt and having the biggest, baddest system out there is not going to financially help you. You're wanting to sell jewelry, and then you can reinvest in growing your stuff, okay? So right now, it's very simple. My most important things, if I were to tell anyone the very most important thing, is a really good phone. iPhone cameras will never measure to a Samsung camera. I'm not saying that the phones are terrible. Camera quality, they will never ever get close, okay? I literally do not need anything here to zoom in. A lot of you have the zoom lenses. I need nothing to zoom in here. It is clear as a bell, okay? So that is a Samsung camera. Very, very clear all the time. Now, if I were to go live without this camera, the S22 had issues with that one. The voice wouldn't match your mouth. The S21, they did an update and it won't focus anymore. Okay, so the S23 Ultra seems to be the best one at this point. All right, if you have to go to something else, look at the S21, but the S22 is awful. All right, the second most important thing is lighting, period. You could be sitting with a $5 backdrop, a 5x7 backdrop from Amazon behind you in a bathroom, and no one would know where you're sitting because you have a backdrop behind you, right? You could have a box over here, a bunch of boxes taped together with your inventory in it. No one knows what's going on over here either. All they know is what's going on right here, the camera quality and your lighting. If you do not have a ring light or something like it, invest in one, and do not ever go below a 14-inch. You will see 10 and 12-inch dollars, they are junk. Do not go below a 14-inch. I'm telling you, you will never get the lighting that you need, and you want it dimmable, okay? So lighting is so important, because if you can imagine, if I went live in this room without a ring light, this is what it's going to look like, okay? So this is how I'm going to look in this room without a ring light. I have a light fixture above me, but you can't see even my nose, okay? You really aren't going to be able to see the beauty of this ring, right? Because it looks kind of cute, but all you can see is the reflection from the phone, right? It is too dark. A 10-inch ring light is going to give you about, probably about that much light right there, okay? So that will be about a 10-inch ring light. So again, not a whole lot of light to show that jewelry, okay? When you get up around an 18 or a 21-inch, you're looking like this, okay? Everything is very, very clear. Everything is well lit. They can tell what color the stones are. They can tell that they're rhinestones. They can tell everything that is going on. Bottom line is you want to cover your face. When you're showing jewelry, you'll kind of see me. I'm actually looking around the phone. So you'll see me kind of move when I show. I'm off the camera so it cannot focus on my face. All right. So bust, reversible numbers, and lighting. If you can get lighting, save your receipts, write all those pieces off, and it really helps. Now, as we grew, obviously we moved down here, but if you vend, the biggest mistake I made is I took all of my jewelry to this vending event and had a rolling clothes rack, and I had pegboard zip tied to it, and I had all these things going on. And I'll never forget the second one we went to, we sold like 5 pieces. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Never in my life ever again will I ever take my jewelry out of my house. But if I do, I'm going to be smart the way I do it. So I actually use what I bought for that, and I double it, okay? So I use it for my shows as well. As I show a piece of jewelry, I then go over here and hang it. So you can see it is now on this pegboard that actually closes up. I have little pegs in there, and then that will close and latch, right? But during my shows, it's actually sitting next to me, and I can hang the pieces up. So these are all in sets, right? Because you want to bring out sets. So I have a necklace, a bracelet, and an earring or a ring. Whatever I have, it is matching, and I'm maximizing my sales that way instead of just showing one piece at a time, right? Unless you're doing a speed sale, try to do sets. You're going to sell a whole lot more putting things together, and it helps your customers because they have a hard time picturing what to do with it, okay? So I have this set up here. Do you need this? No. All of you that are saying I can't go live because I don't have blah, 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 all you need is this, and a cell phone. Honest to God, bare minimum. This is all you need to go live in your jewelry. So quit making excuses that you need all of the bells and all of the whistles and all of the best, brightest things, and you have to be fully set up and fully prepared because you're not making any money doing that, right? Start where you are like I did. Start with your jokey little freaking bust that Paparazzi gave me in my kit, with your fireplace screen that you bought for $20. With your, pegs that you can put in, force into it and make the holes bigger, right? Print off your numbers if you need to, but just go live and do it. On this team, we have a special group, and I'll tell you about it at the end, but practice. You guys, you can go live on your personal profile and change it from public. First of all, when you go live, it better always be public, okay? And you need to look at your Facebook settings and make sure your public post tags are all public, okay? But you can change that setting to only you and turn your story off, and no one can see you, and you can go live and practice a bazillion times. And the more you practice, the more confident you're going to be. You'll feel more comfortable in front of the camera. You won't feel as silly looking at you, because at the end of the day, I don't look at me. I'm making sure I focus. What I am doing when I'm going live, making sure that the jewelry looks beautiful, and I'm talking to the names of the people that are watching me. So if I was live, I'm going to be addressing Monica and Stephanie and Mildred and Melinda. There are people on the other side talking, right? Look at the names and talk to those people. And if there's no one there, keep going, because someone will watch the replay. All right? So get your minimum necessities, you guys. I'm going to flip the camera. I'm going to show you what my setup looks like now. And what I do, I stand when I go live. I don't sit like I am. I stand so I can move around because I keep people's attention more, right? If you're just sitting down, people, it's almost like when I officiated weddings. I would always say people's mentality and their attention span is about 15 minutes, okay? I would write at 25-minute ceremonies. The only way that I could keep their attention was to change scenes, which would be like the rings, the vows, where we were moving. If you are standing and showing jewelry, you are moving, which is keeping their attention. But I want you to realize something about live. You could show the same piece 75 times, and then someone buys it and you're like, they're on my show all the time. Like, I just don't understand. How did they not buy it before? They may have been putting their child in the bath. They may have been cooking dinner. I want you, when you go live, to explain jewelry as if someone's eyes are closed and they cannot see what you are showing them. So if I held up these earrings that I have on, okay? I held up these earrings and I said, look at these. Aren't these so cute? If she's over there bathing her child and she's not able to touch her phone because her hands are wet, she can't look and see what you're doing, but she's waiting for those star earrings, right? If you're just saying, look at these, they're so cute. Oh my gosh, the rhinestones are so pretty. She has zero clue if she were to close her eyes what you're talking about, right? So I want you to say, look at these gorgeous earrings, you guys. They're silver. They're on a fish hook. Look at those pave set stars. You have the star cut out in the center. It's a large star, solid rhinestones. They shine like a jewelry store. They are so beautiful, okay? If you were to close your eyes, you totally understand the assignment of what I'm showing you, right? And if you've been waiting for something like that, it's going to get your attention enough to stop what you're doing and go claim. But you have to make sure that you're explaining things as you're holding them up, unless you're doing a flash sale, because people are not watching you every second. Do a recap at the end and show everything really fast of what you showed. Because if you're like me, I do not have time, nor will I watch a whole live show. But if I know that you have a recap at the end, I'm going to go fast forward through that live show to that recap, and I'm going to go claim right there. Boom, 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 boom. I'm an albums girl and a recap girl. I am busy. I don't have time or the attention span, ADD Central USA, to sit through someone's live unless I just need background noise, and then I'm not even watching you anyway. Okay? So you want to tailor to all the different customers and how some people want to be there the whole show because you're their community. You're their favorite show, right? They come for you. We all have different jewelry, you guys. We all have jewelry. They come for you. What makes you different? What makes you unique? If you have purple hair and a nose piercing, freaking own it. That makes you unique. If you are hysterical, own it. That makes you unique. I am a total dork on my lives, and I don't care because that is my personality, right? People show up for that. So as nervous as you are at the beginning, like this girl right here, you see the girl talking to you today. That was me. That was me when I started. If you want to see how bad it was in real life, I have a blooper video on my YouTube. Okay, search Danielle Baker Paparazzi on YouTube. You'll find it. I was terrified, just like you. I joined Paparazzi a week behind my sponsor. I asked them what to do, and all I was told was go live. I was never plugged into a group, no upline like me, send me a message and welcome me. It was go live. That's it. And I did. And I did it so scared. And my knees would shake under the table. My ring light would move when I got one because it touched the table. But at the end of the day, I've built my entire business and all of my team going live. And they don't just join Paparazzi, they join you first. So be yourself, show up. And guys, do not go to sleep. If you go to sleep on your business, don't be surprised if it doesn't work. Because if you don't show up to work, it will fail. Okay? So let me show you real quick what my setup looks like. I'm going to make you dizzy. You will see my ring light is right in the center there. I have a standing desk. And then I actually taped that on top of it for organization. Okay? That is a standing desk that moves up and moves down to my height. Okay? These other lights are only in here because I got them instead of the ring light because of my reading glasses. I did not like them. So they are lighting up my room because my lighting up here is not very dark. Okay, it's very pretty, but not great lighting for this. My chair is not here. I do have an anti-fatigue mat that's actually right back there on the floor that I usually will use when I stand up. Okay. I have a table here usually with all of my bins of what I'm going to show for that day. And they're always in little baggies. You'll see these little baggies here. They're in these little baggies, okay? Everything else is up in a bag upstairs, and I will take you up there and show you that organization system too while we're at it, okay? This table over here, I always have a board there. And again, these are either the sets I'm going to show and I put them right back, okay? So if I don't have it over here on this other table, it's set up here in sets and I have my new pieces to the right, all right? But either way, I grew into this, you guys. I started on a fireplace screen. As we pass my living room, I'll show you what I'm talking about. People do not know what is around you. They only know what is behind you. You can buy a very, very cheap backdrop off of Amazon, 5x7 backdrop, and hang it behind you. You can buy a frame if you need to. No one knows what's there. Okay? I promise you this. Keep it basic, keep it simple, just do it. Okay? Hopefully that helps. All right. So let me go show you guys upstairs. This is what I started on. Right there, guys. Right there. So when I tell you, very simple, I'm not kidding you. Okay? Now, as we go into this hallway, do you see how I turn kind of yellow? This is what I was talking about with lighting. That is a regular light bulb, an LED light bulb that is a regular light bulb that instantly will turn you yellow. All your lighting around you will turn you yellow. You have to make sure that you actually get lighting that is white light, okay? So you want white light. All right, so once I get up here, this was the second room that I was in. We are very basic. We have a closet rod with hanging shoe racks, and that's where all our online orders are put, okay? All of my inventory that's hanging on my wall is here in the same correlating Ziploc bag that we recycle, okay? So you'll see down here, as we go through the bags, we number them, we put them in here. So we have one large bag with 500 to 599, and all of our bags are in here recycled. Okay, same with our numbers. Short necklaces are certain numbers, long necklaces, and then our extra numbers are back there. Okay, but everything is completely organized for us to work. Okay, you have to. This was my very first bin system. All of these were my first bin system ever, okay? And that's what I had all of my my customer orders in. So, keep it simple. When we had overflow of orders, it goes down this hallway. So if you just simplify things, you guys, and don't make it so hard, you're going to have a great time doing this. As you grow your system, right? But until you grow to that level, I challenge you to set up something where you can get to your next step, okay? What I mean by that is if you know that you want to sell 1,000 pieces, will your system that you have sustain what you want to do, right? So the system that you're currently working with when you're starting out, will that sustain selling 400 pieces? Will that sustain selling 500 pieces? Will it sustain being able to go to that next level? The next thing I would invest in after your ring light and things when you have extra money to invest is a thermal label printer. You don't use ink. You can ship from home. You save $1, not even walking into the post office. Okay? So hopefully this gave you guys some good ideas for live setup. Keep it simple at the beginning. Just start simple. Keep things going and just grow with your system as you go. But by God, just start. And once you start, Pretend as if you're a business and people want to show up. If you were my favorite show, say you were The Bachelor. I like The Bachelor. If you were The Bachelor and you always came on Thursdays, and then you switched it and you came on the next week on Wednesday, and then the next week you skipped and you didn't even show up, and then the next week, I would be so done with you. I would go replace you with something else close, right? You are people's favorite show. People are going to show up for you, and you're going to grow your customer base that way, all right? If you don't show up consistently and you don't show up like a show, then what's going to happen is people are going to go to someone else that does, okay? Because we all show jewelry. We just show different jewelry, all right? So hopefully this helped you guys. All right. Until the next one, you guys, we're going to do some more. I'll talk to you soon.